Trump admits he doesn't want people to believe their own eyes. As Maya Angelou famously advised, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And that's the challenge here. Trump has shown everyone he stands against the truth, so believe that, which requires not believing him.
Donald Trump is at best at this point a co-president, because it's very clear that Elon Musk thinks he is the one who should hold all the power, and he's acting like it, not just domestically, but on the world stage. Of course, after Donald Trump was elected, we heard of meetings that Elon was joining with world leaders, including President Zelensky, that he was traveling with Trump, that he was staying at his house in his bedroom. The relationship is weird, but what is weirder is Elon Musk. And of course, he spent hundreds of millions of dollars in this election, but he's not done there, because Elon wants to take his reach and his wealth to empower himself across the globe, to empower the worst people. And it's a part of Elon's broader plan that we need to call out. The oligarchy isn't just building in the United States, but Elon wants to stretch it across the globe. And the latest example of that, which really just kind of blew up in Elon's face, is when he endorsed the most extreme political party right-wing Nazi defenders in Germany, the AfD, in a tweet that got a lot of backlash and led to Elon getting absolutely crushed, and a clip of Senator Chris Murphy that I want to check out right here. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really means the world to me. Now let's check out this clip. Senator Murphy.
On his platform X last night, Elon Musk endorsed the far-right German political party Alternative for Germany, AfD for short, saying, quote, "Only the AfD can save Germany." Now, this is a group that has been labeled as extremist by Germany's own government. One of its founders has been charged in the past with promoting Nazi slogans. I saw that you noticed this on X. Can you talk about your reaction to this?
Yeah, I mean, this is not normal. So AfD is essentially the neo-Nazi party in Germany. They exist to try to rehabilitate the image of the Nazi party, and they have all sorts of very dangerous ideas about ridding Germany of anyone who is not naturally born in that country. They are an extremist group, and it is just extraordinary that maybe the most important advisor to the President of the United States, somebody that has been, parading around the halls of Congress as a key advisor to the President, is endorsing a neo-Nazi party.
What does it tell you?
Inside Germany. I don't know what it tells me. What we know is that what Elon Musk thinks tends to eventually be what the President of the United States thinks. And if the United States takes an official position in favor of neo-Nazis in Germany, it is absolutely catastrophic for the people of Germany, for Europe, and ultimately for the United States. So listen, we saw that tweet overnight last night, and I think we should be talking more about what it means for Trump's foreign policy if he's going to be doing business with neo-Nazis abroad.
Now, Elon and his fanboys were obviously pretty upset about getting called out. Elon sent a negative post about Chris Murphy, which I think the senator can handle. It just shows how reactionary and, of course, constantly online Elon is. But I bring this up, and there are so many other incredible creators talking about Elon all the time as well. Of course, the folks at MessTouch, Adam Mockler, David Pakman, were having this conversation and really trying to censor Elon. And I want to talk to you all about this, because I think it's important, because although Donald Trump is technically going to be president, it seems like Elon really wants to be the one who's in charge. And Donald Trump, hopefully, if Republicans shock us all and decide that the Constitution is important, sometimes he won't be able to run for president again. We have 4 years of Donald Trump, and at this point, he's kind of a lame duck president. And that's what Elon is taking advantage of, and Elon is going to be, unfortunately, around for a while now. I don't know how consistent his political ideology will be, if he will always be supportive of Republicans, or if he will always be supportive of those who he can most easily bend to his whims, which would be Republicans. But it's an important conversation about Elon that we need to continue to have because of what he represents. He represents to me, and I think to most people, hypocrisy, clearly incompetence. He doesn't understand government, and he makes that clear every day, and a focus completely on himself all the time. Elon represents the worst elements of what is an American oligarchy being built right now by himself. He wants to control media while criticizing MSNBC, saying that it's state-owned by the Democrats while he owns Twitter and uses to help Republicans all the time. He says that George Soros is this giant threat when he's dumped more money into elections than anyone in recent history. Elon is a hypocrite. Elon is incompetent, and Elon is in charge kind of at this point, and he's using that power that he has in our government as co-president or kind of president, whatever we want to call him at this point, to make sure that he floods as many dollars as he can into his pocket through his company, through his government contracts, through Doge, a cryptocurrency that Elon Musk holds billions of dollars of and promoting it every single day. Even through the government continues to increase the price of this nonsense cryptocurrency. He is doing everything he can to put money in his pockets at our expense. And we need to be talking about that because Elon will be doing that for a long time. And that is kind of, I think, how we need to be setting this political dialogue about the Trump administration. Of course, Trump is ridiculous, but we also need to be talking about the threat of those around him, the billionaires that build up his administration, that are in his cabinet, that are advising him, and that are advising him to put more money in their pockets at our expense around every corner. And of course, we talked about Elon's control of Twitter, X, whatever it is. And that kind of also taps into a broader media narrative that I think is important to talk about throughout this Trump administration. And that was really well covered. And a conversation that I want to check out from Errol and CR is right here.
Okay. What's your, the Seltzer lawsuit feels like one of those sort of like press release dressed up as a lawsuit at one level. At another level, there really has been a worrying trend in the gates opening and judges letting more of these forward. How do you take it?
The suing of a pollster for a poll you didn't like in a field where polls, when done right, have a variation, is completely frivolous unless through discovery you find some new consumer fraud plot. Right. They have not yet shown that evidence.
There has been, it's not just Robinson, it's not just Trump. We've seen Elon Musk go after media matters with the lawsuit. And I want to be clear here, like we're a little biased because we're reporters, and I generally think the free press is important, and I think the standard for defamation should be high. Also, there are legitimate instances of defamation, and it's important for people not to be defamed and for us to get it right and do our best to get it right. In general, what do you make of this sort of lawsuit fuselage coming from Trump?
Well, one, you're right about the disclosures, so we can be honest with the audience about that. We have an expertise about this as journalists, but we have a view that journalism is a good thing that should flourish and not be stomped out. And you can add to that, I practiced First Amendment law when I used to litigate, so you can say all of that. I have defended journalist rights in this arena. Having said all that, there is a way to look at this, hopefully, for what's good for the country. And it has been a nonpartisan, long tradition dating back to the Fourth Estate of the founders' verbiage that this was key to the facts and sunlight of a democracy and common facts. It's very clear that there's a deliberate, orchestrated strategy here. I thought your report showed many of the key aspects, which was excellent. Rachel has tracked Peter Thiel, who funded anonymous lawsuits against journalists years ago and even ended up bankrupting Gawker, which, whatever its sins, and the courts did find mistakes, it was a corporate death penalty for a mistake in journalism. And so there's a big question here about A, what they want to do, whether win or lose, to chill, as you've reported. And then B, we should keep an eye on this. There are a lot of right-wing figures who want to bring the key First Amendment case here that protects journalists and has a high standard for reporting on public officials in the government, they want to get it to the Supreme Court, which means they might like a Trump-related loss that they can appeal all the way to Trump's Supreme Court.
This is really key. So first of all, the context here is that Trump's been doing this forever. This is what he does. In the 1980s, he was a real estate developer. He sued the Chicago Tribune when its architecture writer described his proposed Manhattan skyscraper as ugly monstrosity. The suit was dismissed. He lost defamation suits against media groups, including CNN and and the New York Times. Now, a critic saying something's an ugly monstrosity is like core First Amendment speech. Like, it must be the case.
It's what protects Donald Trump's rights to insult so many people in public.
Exactly, which again, core protected. But your point about, so you've got a bunch of people, Thiel, Musk, Trump, this is the way they want to go after the press. The worrying thing is what judges are doing with it. And the key case, if you could explain to people, which is Sullivan, which sets the standard, legendary case. We already have Clarence Thomas, I think, on the record in some dissents being like, Sullivan's wrong, we should overrule it. Conservative judges may be looking at that, looking to get sort of teed up a case to open the floodgates to this kind of thing.
Yeah, this is the key case that gives reporters in America and others talking about public figures such robust rights. Other countries don't necessarily have this. You might have narrower free speech, and it's from a civil rights era ruling that basically found that it's a higher standard to actually be sued out of existence or end up paying big amounts when you are reporting on discussing public figures, that you have to basically prove that a statement was not only false, but it was knowingly false, a lie, or made so recklessly that you didn't even check it out.
Right.
And this is where your expertise comes in. You, the team at All In, MSNBC reporters, the ABC reporters, if you want to take folks who are not us, do a great deal of work all day to fact check things to the best of their ability before it makes air. And if they make a mistake, then they try to correct it. And a little footnote, if I may, on the ABC case that may interest people. I thought you did a very precise job of referring to the underlying facts. Even after settling, and we could debate whether ABC should have settled what many lawyers thought was a winnable case, but people settled for different reasons. You'll notice the statement they agreed upon, along with paying this money back, did not refer in ABC's agreed statement to a falsehood. It said, we regret the statements. And that's the deal they struck. And so that's another big difference is most reputable outlets, if we find out something's false, we correct it. They didn't do that then. And again, other people can debate it. We're all here to discuss. But their statement said, we regret the statements.
And if I'm not mistaken, and man, I hope I'm not, as I'm about to say this on live TV, since we just had this conversation, the plaintiffs in Sullivan were folks that did not like the New York Times coverage of the civil rights in what was going on in terms of civil rights movements.
Yeah, and there was
the South.
publishing of, and you get into real deep First Amendment issues like, are you publishing information or reporting when you're publishing names of people involved in the struggle or in the donations?
Right. So you've got this protection there, the court, we don't know what's happened. You've got these civil lawsuits, which I think we're going to see. Then there's the thing he says, which is, I wish the Justice Department should have done it.
Yeah,
but that's left to me. So that's the other big question we're heading towards.
They ought to do something really melts into we.
Right. And that would be pretty unprecedented. I mean, I don't think we've seen a Justice Department go after the free press, either civilly or criminally. Certainly not in my lifetime, not for a long time. Ari Melber, of course.
We know what the next 4 years roughly will look like in terms of suppression of free thought, the free press. This is what Elon and Trump are about as much as they claim to love free speech. Around every corner turn, they're trying to suppress people who disagree with him. Elon was suspending Republicans for calling him out recently. This is what this is going to be. And so we have to call them out even more. And it's what we're going to be doing on the show every single day if you want to support that. As always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you're stuck around at the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.